there was a woman. Her name was Razel Estulin, and she came from Russia. This story must have been in the 50s, who knows, maybe the early 60s. And she came from Russia. And in those days, of course, it was very difficult to get out of Russia. You had to wait a long time. But miraculously, she did get out of Russia. And she was a Chassid Chabad. She was Chabad. She came, and shortly after she got out of Russia, she came to America, and she went into the Rebbe for a private audience. It's called Yechidut. So the Rebbe told her she spoke only Russian and Yiddish. So the Rebbe told her that she should go and do mivtzoim. What's mivtzoim? Especially for women, there's what's called mivtza neshek. Neshek is Nerot Shabbat Kodesh. She should go around with, they had little boxes with candles in them, little candles, and give them out to women. And the women should make a blessing on the candles right before Shabbat. Shabbat candles, women should light Shabbos candles. This, of course, in those days was in the 50s, 60s, this was like unheard of. You go up to a non-religious woman and ask her to do commandments. But the Rebbe said you should do it and it'll work. But she had another problem. She said, but Rebbe, I speak a couple words of English, a few words. How can I go and convince people that if someone's going to talk to me, I won't understand what they're saying. And even if I do understand what they're saying, I can't explain anything. I can't explain. So the Rebbe said, don't worry, you'll go out with other women and everything will be good. You just tell them that the Lubavitcher Rebbe sent. I come from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. That's what you say. You can say that in English. Yes, the Lubavitcher Rebbe sent me. Yes, just say those words. That's okay. So she went with a bunch of other women. She got a group of women that used to go out on Fridays, and she went out. She went out with them. Where did they go? They went to a hospital. They went to a hospital, and maybe a woman's hospital, probably woman's hospital. They went to the woman's wing of the hospital. Anyway, they went to the hospital, and the women all separated. She wanted someone to go with her, but however it came out, she ended up going alone. So she went, the first room she went, and she put it in her mind, the Lubavitcher Rebbe said, right, I should say, Lubavitcher Rebbe sent me. That's what they should say. You could say, hello, also, shalom. She could say, shalom. And the Shabbos candles, Lubavitcher Rebbe sent me. She knows what to say. So she goes into the first room. There's only one woman in the room, an old woman. And she goes into the room, and the woman looks at her, and she starts to scream at her, get out of here with your religious. And she's cursing and yelling and screaming. I had enough of this religious. Woman. The woman had a bit of an accent, so it seems that the woman was from some other place. It was a Jewish hospital. A Jewish hospital. So the lady is screaming and yelling. So this Mrs. Estulin, she's, it's like a big failure. This is the first person she came to. The woman said, what do you want? No, nothing. Get out of here, you religious people. You ruin the world. You this stuff. So all she knows how to say is these things. So she said, the Lubavitcher Rebbe sent me. As soon as she says these words, the woman said, oh, the Lubavitcher Rebbe sent you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. She starts, you speak Russian? God, yes, I speak. And so she starts to speak in Russian. So the lady is from Russia. And she speaks Russian, and they're talking in Russian and Yiddish. In Russia, even the non-religious Jews, the older ones especially, they could speak Yiddish. Russia was a big thing of culture. The culture was the whole thing is the USSR was the Soviet Socialist Republics. It was a union of all these different republics. So they wanted everybody, the people from Bukhara, they should hold on to their identity, but no religion. Your identity, you speak your language, that's a good thing. So a lot of Jews spoke Yiddish as well. Anyway, so she's speaking with this woman in Yiddish, and the woman is saying, oh, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, he is so wonderful, he is so good, so good. So Mrs. Estulin, first of all, she's happy the lady's not yelling at her anymore. And second of all, she's happy that the lady is exactly the opposite. She's very positive. So she says to her, "Can you tell me what happened with Lubavitcher Rebbe? What are you so? How do you even know the Lubavitcher Rebbe?" And the woman's not religious. She hates religion. She hates Judaism. Right, the whole communist manifesto, Boga Niet, there's no God. So the lady says like this. She says that she had two children, and those two children, they got out of Russia. Everyone applied to leave, and she had a son that was the head of a doctor. He was a professor. He was the head of a whole hospital, and a daughter that she was also in something in writing or something. And they both got permission to leave Russia. So they left Russia. They left their parents behind. Their parents also requested to leave Russia. And the parents had ended up, their parents, they got out a couple of years afterwards. But meanwhile, what happened is the two children, they got out. This woman tells the story. And my son, he decided he's going to go to America, because in America they have more hospitals and and he speaks English, and that he'll have more opportunity. He'll show his criteria, his portfolio, that he was a professor and that he was a head of a whole hospital, and they'll get work. But the daughter, she said, "No, I'm going to go to Israel." She wanted to go to Israel, whatever reason it was. I guess she learned to speak Hebrew. So they separated. The daughter went to Israel, and the son went to this, and they called each other. They wrote letters. It was a bit expensive to call. They didn't have that much money. Russia, came from Russia. So the girl, she says, the old woman is speaking. She says, "My daughter, she went to my daughter, she went to Israel, and she found work, and she settled down. My son went to America, and he started looking for work, and he went from hospital to hospital with his whole portfolio that he had, and they wrote each other regularly. But my son, he said that he was having difficulties because in America they didn't accept all of his certifications and all of his diplomas and everything like that. And they said that he has to go to, if he wants to be recognized in America, he has to go to university for another year. And another year, he doesn't have that much money to go to university, and also money for a year. Even if he doesn't go to university, he hasn't got money to last for a year. So he went from one place to another, and every place rejected him. And meanwhile, his letters are coming back to his sister. They're coming less and less optimistic, less positive. And then finally he says, "I had to move from the place where I am, and I had to move to another place." And he moved to this other place, and said, "The place is terrible. The neighbors are awful. It's in a bad neighborhood, and I've lost all of a sudden my motivation. I've been to every university that I thought I could go to, every hospital I went to, every this, and no one accepts me. No one wants to accept, and I don't know what to do." And then the letters stopped. The letters stopped. So the daughter, she's very worried. She doesn't know what to do. And so she calls up her friends in America, and they said to look for it. He calls up the police, doesn't find the son. And she puts advertisements in the Russian newspapers and in the Russian, whatever it is, media, in this, and puts nothing happens. She doesn't find her son. After about so she loses contact with him for a half a year, whatever. After a half a year, she says, "My daughter gets a letter in Russia, in Israel, and that everything is okay. Everything is okay." She said, the boy said, "I found work. I found work in a place. I don't know if it was in medicine, whatever. Anyway, I found work and everything is all right." What happened? Says, my son explained what happened. Said things became so bad, and he became depressed, and the depression led to more depression, until he decided he was going to put an end to his life. And he walked aimlessly. He didn't have any friends. He didn't have any job. He didn't have any money. And the end of the month was coming. He didn't have any money to pay rent. So he decided he was going to put an end to his life. He didn't He was ashamed. He didn't have money to go back to Israel to be with his sister, to this. He lost all hope. So he walked to the bridge, maybe the Brooklyn Bridge, wherever he walked to, and he decided he was going to jump off. So it was Friday. He was walking Friday, and all of a sudden there was nobody around, and there he found a place. Suddenly he hears somebody yell out to him, "Excuse me, sir, are you Jewish?" So he turns around, and there's some religious boy standing with a little table and a tefillin, and he says, "Are you Jewish, sir?" So he says to him, "What do you care?" He says, "Because if you're Jewish, come put on tefillin. Are you Jewish?" And the boy says to him, "Well, tell me, what are you doing? Are you going somewhere? Where are you going?" And the boy sees that this fellow is very depressed. Is something wrong? And so he says, "I'll tell him the whole story. Maybe he can help. Who knows? Maybe he can help." So he tells him the whole story, what he's going to. So the boy says, "You come to commit suicide? What? You talk to the Rebbe." "Oh, Rebbe, what about the Rebbe? What religious?" He says, "Listen, you want to commit suicide? Commit suicide in a week. You can commit suicide whenever you want to. But meanwhile, maybe try to get, maybe the Rebbe can help you. Come." So he takes him, he said, he takes him to Crown Heights. He takes him to Crown Heights, and they write a letter into the Rebbe, or maybe he went into the Rebbe. I don't exactly understand what happened in the story, but however it is, he secured, maybe he stayed there for Shabbat, but on Sunday morning, he got a meeting with the Rebbe Yechidut, and he said, "I went into the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and as soon as I saw this man, suddenly I had hope." And the Rebbe, he didn't say what the Rebbe told him. He said, "The Rebbe gave me advice. He said, don't worry, that everything will be all right." And in Crown Heights, I guess they found him a job. They found him a place. Maybe they gave him money, could be. And he said, "Now I'm in the hands of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I put on tefillin the first time in my life. I feel a different person, and you don't have to worry about me anymore." So this old lady said, "That was my son. And if my son is alive today, it's only because of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Now tell me about these candles that you want." So we see from the story that a miracle within a miracle. Like this lady, the Razel Estulin, that the Rebbe sent her exactly to the right place and exactly to the right woman. And the woman all of a sudden changed her whole attitude toward Judaism. And it was also revealed a big miracle that the Rebbe did for this lady's son. So the same way that the Rebbe saved this woman's son from destruction, so the Rebbe will save the whole entire Jewish world by simply giving us our identity and telling us how much God loves us and cares about us, doing the commandments. And so it will be with all mankind with Mashiach now. Have a good Shabbat with Mashiach now. God bless you all, and we'll see each other on Sunday, 8 o'clock in the morning sharp.